Hi, my name is Amanda Davis. I'm 23 and I've got 2 children. The topic of my speech is emotional abuse on children. I see emotional abuse on a daily basis. That's why I chose this topic. I work at the Children's Place in the mall, so we sell children's clothing, and people come in and they bully their children while they're shopping. I don't really care for when people tell their children to shut up when they're misbehaving and they yell at them and bring attention to themselves while they're out in public. I also see this whenever I'm at the grocery store or if I'm at another clothing store myself shopping with my children. If their child runs off, then they snatch them up by their arm and they scream in their face. They tell them how stupid they are and that they shouldn't be doing that, but the child, doesn't know any better. Emotional abuse toward children is one of the most underreported type of abuse, and it happens every single day. It needs more recognition than what it gets. Have you ever been abused yourself? Do you know anyone that's ever been emotionally abused? Or how do you know that you're being emotionally abused? If somebody is raised in a certain way and their parents are speaking to them, like the example that I just gave, telling them to shut up, and that's how that child thinks that their lifestyle should be. So how does someone know that it's not right for that to be happening? Since it is so hard to recognize when a person is being emotionally abused or has already been emotionally abused, it goes unnoticed by society because it does not get spoken of. The child doesn't know any better, so they don't know to speak up for themselves and to tell someone that it's happening. If the child is depressed or sad all the time or not really social, then that child is most likely going to be emotionally abused. If children knew the difference between being strong and speaking out for themselves from a person who's emotionally abusing them, I think that the subject would get more attention than what it does. If someone doesn't have any physical scars or bruises or something on the surface that they can see, then no one knows that it's happening because it's on the inside. That's why my title is Words Can Hurt Too. Children sometimes don't think that name calling or yelling or being put down are types of abuse because, like I said earlier, their parents do that their entire lives. So that's what they're used to. Now that I have discussed how understudied emotional abuse goes, let's talk about how young children don't speak up for themselves, and that makes it so much harder for people to know that it's happening to a child. Daphne Simon, she says in an article, emotional maltreatment is of 2 major types. It's emotional abuse and emotional neglect. Emotional neglect is a lot easier to recognize in a child than emotional abuse due to the fact that the child will seem more depressed and not as energetic and maybe even seem unhappy about things that a child should find excitement in and they should be happy about. There was another article that I had found on the internet that said they found a reported number of 11.7 per 10,000 children among states as a function of differences in caregiver capability. Statute, says Daphne in her report titled Emotional Maltreatment of Children. In my opinion, those who have children should see every day as a blessing, and someone who harms a child in the form of words coming out of their mouth, they don't have respect for themselves. That's just because it's not respect for the child, so that I don't think that they don't have respect for themselves. In the study done by Jones and McCurdy, they have found that emotional maltreatment was present in 13.7% of the children that they examined. That's a lot, honestly. If you examine 100, that's 13 children. Yeah. Studies have also shown that 3,346 parents of children under the age of 17, they estimated that 26.7% and 11.3% reported at least 10 and 25 verbal abuses per year. Now that I have shown you the data and that I have searched and what I've found on emotional abuse, I suggest that you get informed on this subject because it's understudied and people do not give it the recognition that it needs. Thank you for your time.